Good afternoon. Today I'm going to talk to you about the TED Talk and why do we get angry. And so it says feelings of anger arise due to how we interpret and react to certain situations. Everyone has their own triggers for what makes them angry, but some common ones include situations in which we feel threatened or attacked, frustrated or powerless, like we're being invalidated or treated unfairly, like people are not respecting our feelings or position. People can interpret situations differently, so a situation that makes you feel very angry may not make someone else feel angry at all. For example, other reactions could include annoyance, hurt, or amusement. But just because we can interpret things differently, it doesn't mean that you're interpreting things wrong if you get angry. How you interpret and react to a situation can depend on lots of factors in your life, including your childhood and upbringing, past experiences, and current circumstances. Whether your anger is about something that happened in the past or something that's going on right now, thinking about how and why we interpret and react to a situation can help us learn how to cope with our emotions better. It can also help us find productive strategies to handle our anger. So, the first factor that is our childhood and upbringing. How we learn to cope with angry feelings is often influenced by our upbringing. Many people are given messages about anger as children that may make it harder to manage it as an adult. For example, you may have grown up thinking that it's always okay to act out your anger aggressively or violently. And so you didn't learn how to understand and manage your angry feelings. This could mean you have angry outbursts whenever you don't like the way someone is behaving or whenever you are in a situation you don't like. You may have been brought up to believe that you shouldn't complain and may have been punished for expressing anger as a child. This could mean that you tend to suppress your anger and it becomes a long-term problem where you react inappropriately to a situation you're not comfortable with. If you don't feel you can release your anger in a healthy way, you might also turn this inwards on yourself. You may have witnessed your parents or other adults' anger when it was out of control, and learn to think of anger as something that is destructive and terrifying. This could mean that you now feel afraid of your own anger and don't feel safe expressing your feelings when something makes you angry. Those feelings make them surface at another unconnected time, which may feel hard to explain. Past experiences, that is the other factor. If you've experienced a particular situation in the past that made you feel angry, such as abuse, trauma, or bullying, either as a child or more recently as an adult, and you weren't able to safely express your anger at the time, you might still be coping with those angry feelings now. This might mean that you now find certain situations particularly challenging and more likely to make you angry. And sometimes your present feeling of anger may not only be about the current situation, but may also be related to a past experience, which can mean that the anger you're feeling in the present is at a level that reflects your past situation. Becoming aware of this can help us to find ways of responding to situations in the present in a safer and less distressed way. And the other factor that is current circumstances. If you're dealing with a lot of other problems in your life right now, you might find yourself feeling angry more easily than usual, or getting angry at unrelated things. If there is a particular situation that's making you feel angry, but you don't feel able to express your anger directly or resolve it, then you might find you express that anger at other times. Anger can also be a part of grief. If you love someone important to you, it can be hugely difficult to cope with all the conflict things you might be feeling. And but the other thing is what happens when we get angry. When we get angry, the heart rate, arterial tension, and testosterone production increases. Cortisol decreases, and the left hemisphere of the brain becomes more stimulated. This is indicated by a new investigation led by scientists from the University of Valencia, UV, that analyzes the changes in the brain's cardiovascular, hormonal, and asymmetric activation response when we get angry. Inducing emotions generates profound changes in the autonomous nervous system, which control the cardiovascular response, and also in the endocrine system. In addition, changes in cerebral activity also occur, especially in the frontal and temporal lobes. The researchers induce anger in 30 men using the version that has been adapted to Spanish of the pressure anger inductions. Asymmetries of brain activity. Nonetheless, by focusing on the asymmetric brain activity of the frontal lobe that occurs when we experience emotions, there are two models that contradict the case of anger, the researcher highlights. The first model of emotional balance suggests that the left frontal region of the brain is involved in experiencing positive emotion, whilst the right is more related to negative emotions. The second model of motivational direction shows that the left frontal region is involved in experiencing emotion related to closeness, whilst the right is associated with emotion that provoke withdrawal. The positive emotions, like happiness, are usually associated to a motivation of closeness, and the negative ones, like fear and sadness, are characterized by a motivation of withdrawal. However, not all emotions behave in accordance with this connection. The case of anger is unique because it is experienced as a negative, but often it evokes a motivation of closeness, the expert explains. When experiencing anger, we have observed in our study an increasing right ear advantage that indicates a greater activation of the left hemisphere, which supports the model of motivational direction. Herrera points out. In other words, when we get angry, our asymmetric cerebral response is measured by the motivation of closeness to the stimulus that causes us to be angry, and not so much by the fact we consider this stimulus as negative. Normally, when we get angry, we show a natural tendency to get closer to what made us angry to try to eliminate it, he concludes. Every emotion is unique. This is the first general study on emotion, and more specifically on anger, that examines all these different psychobiological parameters in a single investigation to study the changes caused by inducement of anger. In addition, the results of the study are along the same lines as previous investigation, and defend that was being noted by Darwin, that the emotion, in this case anger, are accompanied by unique and specific pattern for each emotion.